time, we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. We'll begin with our pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please. Pearson.
Present.
Bradford. Absent. Wolford.
Present.
Nichols. Here. Sanders.
Present.
Ware.
Present.
Do have a form. At this time, we're going to address any of the public comments that we have here. I have two comments first from Ms. McCullough.
My first question is the agendas. There are mistakes all over them. And I'm wondering if you can please have someone proofread these things. They're going out on our Facebook page, as you know, and we had 17,000 people view that page last week, and it would alleviate some of the negative comments about Cahokia.
Well, thank you, Ms. McCullough, and like I said, we are addressing the issue.
Okay. My second is restricted funds, TIF money. Can you please explain it to everyone and what it can and can't be used for?
In regards to our TIF funding, I would like to have our TIF consultant, Keith Moran, here as well. He could really get into the meat of the whole TIF deal. And I'll tell you what, the next meeting I'll just have Mr. Moran come so he can explain it in detail for you.
But it can't be used for payroll funds, correct?
No.
Okay.
And then I have some other questions in regards to Mr. Kelly, David Kelly.
Mr. McCall, before I ask the question, I just want to clarify one thing for me. Is your title mayor or is it president? Because I see on several things you sign as president, and some things you sign as mayor, so I just want to make sure I address you correctly.
Well, Mr. Kelly, I personally have never signed president, McCall. Here in the village of Cahokia, it has been long-standing that it has been as the president of the village of Cahokia. But you can also say that my title is mayor as well. But this is something that has been in place for years, way before my time. The title is president of the village.
Okay, so what do you want me to address you as?
You can just address me as mayor.
Mayor. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so on several occasions, you have been asked about the funds used to pay the newly hired or appointed positions. And your response has always been that the funds have been allocated. Okay. I respect the fact that, and thank you for creating positions in Cahokia to help decrease unemployment rates. So now that funds were allocated, where were these funds previously allocated? And are you able to show accounting documents to prove where the funds were allocated before and where they're now allocated?
In regards to any prior administrations, you would have to go and check the files, and I would have to pull those files for you to see what they did or how they allocated their funds. But what I can tell you is how my administration are allocating the funds. And if need be, I can pull that information for you, and feel free to just come pick it up at the clerk's office.
Because, I respect the fact that you have these funds allocated. And my concern is, if the funds were there all along, what were they being used for before? And maybe we need to go back to those other administrations and find out what they were using the money for. Because if we had the money this long, why weren't these positions already there?
And once again,
That's my concern. I'm not
Right.
saying that you're doing anything wrong, but, I mean, it needs to be shown where it came from.
right, and I understand that. And thank you for your
And that's
concern.
something I'd like, I mean, I think that you should be willing to go forward and provide that information to the public instead of someone having to go request that.
Sure, definitely. And if any time you would like to have documentation or anything, just feel free to come to the clerk's office and pick up that information at that time. Thank you. Okay, at this time, we're going to move forward here. We have just two things on the agenda very quickly here. We have new business. We have ordinance 15-1315, ordinance authorizing the transfer of funds from tax increment fund financing district number 6 to tax increment financing district number 1 for the purpose of making a payment of general refunding bonds at the golf course This is a payment that is always due at this time of the year, and so we just want to make sure that we make that payment to stay in good faith.
I got a question on that before you start. When you transfer funds to pay the golf course, you're taking it out of 6, that's the new rail loop back by the river. That's the brand new tip, right?
Mhm.
Okay. But that tip has to go to 1, then to 2 before that payment's made. It has to be joint, it has to be touching the tip districts, and that's not touching this tip district. So you're gonna have to go from 6 to 1 to 2 to pay that payment,
Mhm.
but you don't have it in.
Keith Moran told me that 1 to 6 were contiguous and then we could transfer the money.
But it's always had to be like touching the tip districts that been touched, always before.
I'm just telling you what Keith Moran, who's our TIP coordinator, told me. That's why it's being done the way it is.
Well, just well, it's noted, but I think it's wrong. I talked to Keith myself this morning, so.
Okay, well, we're gonna, at this time, I need a motion and a second for approval, please.
So moved.
Motion by trustee Pearson, second by
Second.
trustee Wolford. Roll call, please.
Pearson,
Yes.
Wolford,
Yes.
Nichols,
No.
Sanders,
Yes.
Ware.
Yes.
Okay, ordinance approved. And next we have the ordinance 15-1316, ordinance providing for the annexation of Terry pursuant to 65 ILCS 5712. This time, we need a motion and a second for approval.
I got a question on that one too. Did we discuss this before we do this?
In regards to.
I got a lot of questions. For one, why are we annexing Parkville Terrace area? That's the first question. I mean, it's one of the most blighted areas and the most crime rate area in the world right now, as far as I'm concerned. You just had a murder last week. And who's gonna pay for all the upkeep in that town? You know, I went over there yesterday, and there's a sewer break over, you put this room in, right off the lower lead. So we're gonna inherit all this, stepping in this to take it, and you're only taking a certain percentage of the unincorporated area. You're just taking down by county line and across to Lorraine Drive to Worth, all the way down to 157, and you're gonna get all the car lots from Patricia Apartments all the way down to the A&E car lots, you're gonna take it down. So why didn't you take all of the unincorporated areas and just park?
Well, trustee Nichols, in regards to your statement, your questions, first of all, Parkville Terrace is an area that has for long been, for many would say, the stepchild of the village of Cahokia. And I think that it's a great idea, and I think that this is a huge plus here for the village of Cahokia when you look at tax revenue per capita, and then as well as those individuals in that subdivision who don't have any leadership, they don't vote for any leadership, it's for long been an unincorporated area, and so we've had to rely on the county to patrol the area, and I think that those residents, they deserve the same rights and freedom here as any resident here in the village of Cahokia, and so that's why we moving forward.
I understand that, but you also got a town here that's in trouble. Because we need to take care of our city first. I have got nothing against taking in Parkville Terrace and the people, but take care of your own village first. We don't have the policemen. If we don't have nothing to take care of that area. I grew up there. I know all about that area. Every step, every inch of Parkville Terrace. Used to be a beautiful place. But as far as us taking that in and paying for everything, I mean, the only thing you're going after down there that I can see is the car lots taxes. A lot of money in them car lots. And you make sure that all that got in there. But nothing, you know, I know what you're doing. You're going around the farm ground and you're just taking the houses because there has to be a vote if you take over the 10 acres at a time. True?
No.
It's not true. You'd have to get a vote, signatures from everybody that lives there.
No, sir.
No, that ain't what the paper. But anyway, I just don't, I ain't got nothing about taking the people, and that's one thing. But for Cahokia to take that on right now, the struggle is Cahokia is wrong.
And I understand.
And you've got a lot of citizens out there that are, you know, let them ask you some questions. That's why they're here.
I would just like to ask one.
Going forward here, any questions that you may have, we're gonna address those in the next meeting.
Well, that's
Yeah, I just have one question. I want to know if it has to do with the article in the Democrat about Rick Watson cutting back on police officers. And now all of a sudden, we're taking a,
You can address those and submit them.
but this will be after the fact.
Day of the next meeting. Thank you.
Okay, what you're saying is the
Go
after
ahead,
fact.
roll call, please.
Motion.
We need to get this information in the agenda then.
Motion by trustee Pearson.
And all these trustees are going to vote on it just because he says so.
Pearson.
Yes.
Wolford.
Yes.
Nichols.
No.
No, we can't prepare questions because they don't give us the information.
Yes.
All right. Ordinance
That's the
approved.
problem.
This time we need a motion and second for adjournment.
Motion.
Motion by trustee Ware, second
Second.
by trustee Wolford. The time now is 12:11.
It's typical.
Pearson.
Yes.
Police officers are gonna be leaving and going elsewhere.
Nichols. Sanders.
Yes.
Ware.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.
When is that?